KI-Revolution, von Chatbots zu Fabriken.
Let's talk about AI. What is AI? Most people would say that AI is a chatbot, and it's rightfully so. There's no question that ChatGPT is at the forefront of what people would consider AI. However, just as you see right now, these scientific supercomputers are not going to run chatbots. They're going to do basic science. Science, AI, the world of AI is much, much more than a chatbot. Of course, the chatbot is extremely important, and AGI is fundamentally critical. Deep computer science, incredible computing, great breakthroughs are still essential for AGI. But beyond that, AI is a lot more. AI is, in fact, I'm going to describe AI in a couple different ways. The first way you think about AI is that it has completely reinvented the computing stack. The way we used to do software was hand coding software running on CPUs. Today, AI is machine learning, training, data-intensive programming, if you will, trained and learned by AI that runs on a GPU. In order to make that happen, the entire computing stack has changed. Notice, you don't see Windows up here. You don't see CPU up here. You see a whole fundamentally different stack. Everything from the need for energy. And this is another area where our administration, President Trump, deserves enormous credit. His pro-energy initiative, his recognition that this industry needs energy to grow. It needs energy to advance, and we need energy to win. His recognition of that and putting the weight of the nation behind pro-energy growth completely changed the game. If this didn't happen, we could have been in a bad situation. And I want to thank President Trump for that. On top of energy are these GPUs. And these GPUs are built into infrastructure that I'll show you later. On top of this infrastructure, which consists of giant data centers like easily many times the size of this room, an enormous amount of energy, which then transforms the energy through this new machine called GPU supercomputers to generate numbers. These numbers are called tokens. The language, if you will, the computational unit, the vocabulary of artificial intelligence. You can tokenize almost anything. You can tokenize, of course, the English word. You can tokenize images. That's the reason why you're able to recognize images or generate images. Tokenize video, tokenize 3D structures. You could tokenize chemicals and proteins and genes. You could tokenize cells. Tokenize almost anything with structure, anything with information content. Once you could tokenize it, AI can learn that language and the meaning of it. Once it learns the meaning of that language, it can translate, it can respond just like you interact with ChatGPT, and it could generate just as ChatGPT can generate. So all of the fundamental things that you see ChatGPT do, all you have to do is imagine, what if it was a protein? What if it was a chemical? What if it was a 3D structure like a factory? What if it was a robot? And the token was understanding behavior and tokenizing motion and action. All of those concepts are basically the same, which is the reason why AI is making such extraordinary progress. And on top of these models are applications. Transformers is not a universal model. It's an incredibly effective model, but there's no one universal model. It's just that AI has universal impact. There are so many different types of models. In the last several years, we enjoyed the invention and went through the innovation breakthroughs of multimodality. There's so many different types of models. There's CNN models, convolutional neural network models, there's state space models, there are graph neural network models, multimodal models, of course, all the different tokenizations and token methods that I just described. You could have models that are spatial in its understanding, optimized for spatial awareness. You could have models that are optimized for long sequence, recognizing subtle information over a long period of time. There are so many different types of models. On top of these models, architectures, on top of these model architectures are applications. The software of the past, and this is a profound understanding, a profound observation of artificial intelligence, that the software industry of the past was about creating tools. Excel is a tool. Word is a tool. A web browser is a tool. The reason why I know these are tools is because you use them. The tools industry, just as screwdrivers and hammers, the tools industry is only so large. In the case of IT tools, they could be database tools. These IT tools is about $1 trillion or so. But AI is not a tool. AI is work. That is the profound difference. AI is, in fact, workers that can actually use tools. One of the things I'm really excited about is the work that Ervin's doing at Perplexity. Perplexity using web browsers to book vacations or do shopping. Basically an AI using tools. Cursor is an AI, an agentic AI system that we use at NVIDIA. Every single software engineer at NVIDIA uses Cursor. That's improved our productivity tremendously. It's basically a partner for every one of our software engineers to generate code. And it uses a tool. And the tool it uses is called VS Code. So Cursor is an AI, agentic AI system that uses VS Code. Well, all of these different industries, whether it's chatbots or digital biology, where we have AI assistant researchers, or what is a robotaxi? Inside a robotaxi, of course, it's invisible, but obviously there's a AI chauffeur. That chauffeur is doing work, and the tool that it uses to do that work is the car. And so everything that we've made up until now, the whole world, everything that we've made up until now are tools for us to use. For the very first time, technology is now able to do work and help us be more productive. The list of opportunities go on, which is the reason why AI addresses the segment of the economy that IT has never addressed. IT is a few $1 trillion that sits underneath the tools of a $100 trillion global economy. Now, for the first time, AI is going to engage that $100 trillion economy and make it more productive, make it grow faster, make it larger. We have a severe shortage of labor. Having AI that augments labor is going to help us grow. Now, what's interesting about this from a technology industry perspective also is that in addition to the fact that AI is new technology that addresses new segments of the economy, AI in itself is also a new industry. This token, as I was explaining earlier, these numbers, after you tokenize all these different modalities of information, there's a factory that needs to produce these numbers. Unlike the computer industry and the chip industry of the past. Notice, if you look at the chip industry of the past, the chip industry represents about 5 to 10%, maybe less, 5% or so, of a multi-trillion dollar, few trillion dollar IT industry. And the reason for that is because it doesn't take that much computation to use Excel. It doesn't take that much computation to use browsers. It doesn't take that much computation to use Word. We do the computation. But in this new world, there needs to be a computer that understands context all the time. It can't pre-compute that. Because every time you use the computer for AI, every time you ask the AI to do something, the context is different. So it has to process all of that information. Environmental, for example, in the case of a self-driving car, it has to process the context of the car. Context processing. What is the instruction you're asking the AI to do? Then it's got to go and break down the problem step by step, reason about it, and come up with a plan and execute it. Every single one at that step requires enormous number of tokens to be generated, which is the reason why we need a new type of system, and I call it an AI factory. It's an AI factory for sure. It's unlike a data center of the past. It's an AI factory because this factory produces one thing, Unlike the data centers of the past that does everything, stores files for all of us, runs all kinds of different applications. You could use that data center like you can use your computer for all kinds of applications. You could use it to play a game one day, you could use it to browse the web, you could use it, to do your accounting. And so that is a computer of the past, a universal general purpose computer. The computer I'm talking about here is a factory. It runs basically one thing, it runs AI, and its purpose is designed to produce tokens that are as valuable as possible, meaning they have to be smart. And you want to produce these tokens at incredible rates, because when you ask an AI for something, you would like it to respond. And notice, during peak hours, these AIs are now responding slower and slower because it's got a lot of work to do for a lot of people. And so you wanted to produce valuable tokens at incredible rates, and you wanted to produce it cost effectively. Every single word that I used are consistent with an AI factory, with a car factory, or any factory. It is absolutely a factory.